Okay, so what better way to end a long day of work than to be interrogated with strange and wonderful questions by me? Question number one. What was your favorite toy growing up?
I didn't have one.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I feel this is like the Amish in you coming through. I had a toy called Babe, which is a like small furry hedgehog thing that I basically had constantly when I was growing up. I think my dad bought it in like a petrol station or a gas station, as you would say.
So like a stuffed animal?
Basically, yeah, like a very small, pretty cheap one that I just cherished. I wonder where that comes from. Do we know why people have these childhood toys? What that's all about?
I don't know. But I mean, it's not just the Amish in me because I have siblings. Like my siblings liked things. Like they would play with little trinkets and items. I just never have loved stuff.
I'd say you're pretty minimalistic, actually.
Very.
Interesting, and that's kind of carried through from your childhood into adulthood. I wonder to what extent minimalism is like a genetic thing or an inborn thing. Because some people just don't have that attachment to material things. But I did have an attachment to that furry material thing when I was younger. It's funny,
I
I'd
feel
even
like
cry
you
if I
still
didn't have it,
treasure
you know.
things.
Sorry?
Like I feel like you still treasure things. Like your phone, your computer, your piano. Obviously, I mean, those are things that are nice, but you treasure stuff.
Yeah, I have this kind of protectiveness over things. Maybe being an only child is part of it as well. And sentimentality towards objects as well. The other thing is it can get very it can just get too much over time. Minimalism is nice because it's just much more low maintenance in my experience. Okay, so if you could travel back or forward in time, where, or should I say when, would you go?
I think I'm reading a book right now, or I just finished a book called Four Pillars. The book is about a cathedral being built and going to a little kingdom area, village during that time. I think could be fun for like a month.
Interesting.
But then I want to come back. Very interesting. Tom the Builder, and he has kids, and so it talks about the story of how he became the builder. Like, did you ever think about the architects of the people, like the people that built the cathedrals? It's so fascinating. Where did they get their ideas? It just, and then it follows the storyline. So it's like about the cathedral being built, the surrounding people, the family, and yeah, fascinating, fascinating.
What is the difference? Do we know what the difference is between a cathedral and a church, or is it just that one is much bigger?
One is much bigger.
Okay, and I think
A
there's some
cathedral,
strange rule where, or like if it somewhere has a cathedral, it becomes a city. Is that right? Something like
yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
why the Vatican, I think, is considered a city, even though it's really tiny.
Interesting.
I think I may have just made that up though. My gut instinct is always to go back to sort of my grandparents' heyday, which would be, I got this wrong in the last video, and I'm not going to guess it now, but when they were young, I'd like to kind of get a first-hand view of all the stories I've heard. I may find out that some of them maybe, I don't know, the truth is slightly bent a little bit, but I would love to see them in their heyday. That would be a great one. Okay, question 3. What is your pet peeve?
You know what? I think this could possibly be a pet peeve of mine, even though I have done it. I do it a lot less now than I used to. I am a live and let live type of person, and people that are the opposite of that really irk me. If you were telling people how they should live your life, that irks me a lot because we don't have context of other people's lives, like their experiences, all the things they're taking into consideration with the decisions they're making. So it's like all your past experiences are influencing this choice and decision you're making, plus all the things you want to, all your goals. Like it's just so many little things that are in play, and to just think that one size fits all and everyone should be doing the same thing, nails on a chalkboard. But I have done it. I've done
Yeah.
that to people.
Whenever you're about to criticize someone for something, and then you think about your own life and to try and find an instance of where you've done something similar, it's pretty easy to find an example of you transgressing in that way. So yeah, it can become hard to judge people. So I'd say my pet peeve, it's going to seem more trivial in comparison. When I'm sitting down on my laptop and there's clearly like motion happening, there's a video happening, and I've got headphones in and people start talking to me. That's just like, that's bridge burnt, deal breaker.
You've gotten really upset with me in the past when we've been on video call and you've been busy doing something or watching something, and I watch something without headphones on.
because it just blasts and it overtakes my whatever I'm watching or listening to. Same with
You
talking as well, because people will small talk to you. Like if they're asking you something important, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I'm kind of going, yeah, so yeah, and then put it back in to signal that I'm going back into the introverted virtual world. But people don't always get the hint. Okay, so question number 4: what personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
I'm a reactive, so that has gotten me into a lot of trouble. Like if you say something, I mean, it doesn't just have to be you. It's happened to probably every person in
Good
my
to
life.
know.
But if you say something, I perceive it in a certain way, and without thinking all the other things that you could have meant, I go with my first reaction and respond.
Yeah, stopping to think all the possible things it could mean often will diffuse people. The trait, I think I've got 2 traits. Let me go with this one though. I don't know what this is called, but being late, wow, that's got me into so many awkward and terrible situations. It seems like quite a small thing, but it's actually like I know it's a very disrespectful thing, and I know when someone agrees, like, say we're doing a piano lesson, they might rearrange part of their day, and I'll be late, and I'll reliably be late, like over and over, with miraculously different excuses every time. So yeah, it's not great. I guess time management in general is not my thing because I'm so used to having quite an open schedule that any restriction that comes in, I get very precious about the whole thing. Question 5: what accomplishment are you most proud of?
You know what I'm probably most proud of, because this is what I value the most, the people that surround me.
Yeah, your answers are doing better than mine, I think, which is annoying. Might have to secretly edit better answers in here. I was going to say learning to drive is my accomplishment I'm most proud of because of how unpleasant I found it. Just sitting in a car with someone whose sole purpose is to criticize what you're doing, that was not a fun experience. I even got into low-key, very mild arguments with some of them because I had 2 different driving
Out of
instructors.
all of your accomplishments, that is your one that you're most proud of.
Yeah, because the
You
other
know what?
ones,
You've brought that up so many times. You bring that up in conversation all the
yeah,
time. You'll be like, when you're learning to drive, when you're learning to drive.
yeah, it's
Now
funny
I
because
understand why.
there are obviously the things we've done in our lives, like overcoming things that are difficult, that are achievements. But in a sense, when you're like backed up against the wall, or you have some tragedy or something, you have to overcome it. You have to keep moving forward. You've got no choice. But with certain things like with learning to drive, I really wanted to stop at some point. I really thought, and it did stop because for some reasons that I can't remember, I stopped lessons for all. I was like, oh, thank God. I'm not going to go back to that. Then I did somehow, for some reason. I was one of the first people to learn in my school actually how to drive because I was allowed to start a little bit earlier. It was so unpleasant and just like not fun because I really like even having people in the car when I'm driving anyway is not pleasant. I just like to be driving on my own basically. So it was so unfun for so long, and then to finally do it and then to realize, oh wow, actually my life has just been transformed by the fact that I'm liberated by this car now. So yeah. Anyway, I clearly should have gone with a better
It's
answer for that one.
impacted you ever since because,
Kind of,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, the level of freedom I've gained from that is greater than probably any other skill. That's probably true for a lot of people. But, it's an underrated freedom, I think, the mobility that a car gives you. Because my grandparents don't drive, and they've never driven in 80 or 90 years of their life. So it's kind of a weird, their minds, I think, in some ways, they've traveled the world, actually, to be fair. They've gone on cruises and stuff, so they don't have a limited mindset. But when you're always walking somewhere, and you're used to that, you kind of, your mind, I feel like, constricts sometimes to, you can't just go on a 2-hour car journey whenever you want. So
Interesting. I did not know that about them.
yeah, it's just very strange actually.
Is it
Um,
common for the people of that generation?
that's a good question. It might be actually. Well, it's definitely more common. I don't know how common it is. I'd say so. Yeah, probably. Maybe like 50-50 even. I'm not entirely sure. Is there an age where you have to redo your test, or can you just keep driving any age?
Yeah, you can just keep driving.
Oh well,
You
that's
just every 4 years, you just have to go in and get a new license made.
okay. That's
But
mildly
I
scary.
always lose my license in those 4 years. So I always, my license never expires because I get a new one because of
Way
the
before.
lost one. Yeah.
Okay. What's the most beautiful place you've ever been? Feel free to interpret beauty in whichever way you want.
Probably Spanish Wells, the Bahamas.
Okay, interesting.
I'm going with physical beauty.
I found that that's generally the best beauty to go with. Well, I think I'm going to keep it local and say that just on a warm day, like floating or swimming in the sea on the beach here with the sun setting, because it's a really nice sunset that happens behind the mountains, the prospect of going home, warm shower, good family food, then, spending my nighttime being productive and talking with my American comrades. I think that's as beautiful as it can get, really. So yeah, lucky to live in the area that I live in. Aside from the absolutely shit weather, but sometimes it's warm here, so that's fine. Okay, this is like the greatest question of all time here. If you could ask your pet 3 questions, what would they be? I don't know why I like this question so much. Both my pets are dead as well, so it just have to be a hypothetical one for me.
I would ask Kitty, but would I want to shatter the mystery of that is Kitty?
Yeah, that's true. She could have some really boring answers.
I would be very curious if she schemes. Does she try to push all my buttons? Does she or
Is she
is
a
this
bitch by choice or by chance? Yeah. I would like to know that too.
And then, wait, 3 questions?
3 questions. It doesn't have to be 3. I mean, you might just want to stop talking to her after question 1. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I don't want to know what's in her head, honestly.
Well, okay. Here's a few questions I have to any pets out there that might follow us. One is when you're staring at us, like just on an average moment, when you're like just looking in their eyes, what do you want most of the time? Because I find that my Jack Russells both did that, and they wouldn't even wait for you to do anything necessarily. You'd open the door, they wouldn't go out. I'm just like, what's the staring about? What are you trying to get to? Another one is, are you aware of the concept of death? So do dogs know that they can die? Like when they see a dead dog, do they understand what that is? And that something bad's happened? Do they know that they're going to get old? How do they conceptualize mortality?
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either. I think that's
asking me, you're asking the pet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe some conscious animals like elephants, dolphins, maybe they are aware. Because I think elephants might have that elephant graveyard. I don't know if that's a myth or not, though. Another one is, are you able to communicate with other dogs? Like, do you understand what they're communicating? Because obviously there seems to be some rudimentary form of communication, or even with other animals. So yeah, they are my questions for my dead dogs. Okay. What is the funniest thing you've ever seen a stranger do?
Okay, I don't know if this is the funniest thing, but this is the only thing I can think of, and it just happened yesterday, which is probably why I can think of it. I was driving down the road on the interstate, and I passed a car, and there was a flame inside the car beside this person, and I'm talking like a flame. Something was burning in their car, and they were driving down the road.
Did you try to signal them, or?
No, they drove by me really fast. I mean, they weren't speeding. It wasn't like they weren't acting like they had an emergency.
They weren't acting like someone whose car was on fire. Yeah.
It wasn't even the car that was on fire. It was something inside the car.
What is that about?
And it was a small little fire.
So mine is going to sound more sadistic than it is. Mine was see a guy falling out of a wheelchair. Let me elaborate on that before it sounds before you all switch off in horror. So I was outside this local bar restaurant area, and it was a night I was with family members, and I was standing outside, and this guy in a wheelchair who had had a few drinks, he looked like he had a good night basically. He rolled down this incline or this ramp part, and the wheels hit the thing, and he went forward like that. But he did something amazing. He flipped over, so he didn't hit his head. He actually did a flip, a roll to avoid hitting his head. And I was like, "Did you just do that on purpose?" I couldn't believe that had just happened, because I was just standing there, obviously not helping him up. Someone else helped him up. So that was one of the.
He was just trying that.
I thought it was because it was a woman I was standing next to. Maybe he was just trying to be, I don't know, stupid male trying to impress someone in a very weird way. But because my first reaction was, if you can do that, how are you in a wheelchair? I can't do, most people I know can't even do that. So that was one of the fun, because I burst out laughing, whilst also trying to repress it just in case, oh God, something bad just happened, I'm bad if someone falls over or something stupid happens, even if I feel like they've hurt themselves. It's quite funny, And when I fall over, I'm laughing. Final question. What fictional character do you wish you could meet?
None.
Well, some solid SE there.
I don't know why I would want to meet a fictional character.
Yeah, and I guess that's just a contradiction in terms. I mean, the moment you meet them, they wouldn't be fictional anymore. So I will answer this question, though. I'm more than happy to go with hypothetical, pointless questions. I think I'd probably go with Sherlock Holmes, just because he has so many of these logical formulas and mental frameworks for just clever observations, and then tying a narrative through them, looking at a crime scene, picking out details, and then figuring out what storyline could explain them. That's just I think that's just a gorgeous mental skill. So,
yeah, you know what I've been thinking this entire time you've been talking about him and meeting him?
Do tell.
But he's fictional. I can't even play along in my mind.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's let's just say not a high intuition response. Well, there we go. I was going to do 10 questions, but evidently I only have 9. So, we can just take the 10th one as implied. What would be nice if people in the comment section, because I'm always curious to hear, like, the YouTube comment section is just the best thing in the world. Whenever there's a terrible video or a funny video or whatever, you go down to the comments and someone will have something genius to say. So it would be nice if people, I'll copy and paste these 9 questions in the description, and then you can give us your answers there, because I just love seeing what people say about this kind of thing. Again, I never like asking people to subscribe when they watch these videos, because I feel like only current subscribers will be watching this. So till the next time, goodbye everyone.